Yeah, I've been busy. I've been working out at my daughter's house, painting and fixing up a room and so forth, and staying busy.
That's good.
Hi, councilors.
Life is good. That's right.
Yep.
Hi, councilors.
Hi.
Hey there,
Councilor
Councilor
Condon.
Condon. How we doing?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay. All right.
All right. So do we
All
have everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. So it's 7 o'clock. Are you ready to roll, City Clerk?
I am.
Okay. The council will come to order. All rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America.
and to the republic
Republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our veterans, servicemen and women, and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. You may be seated. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson. Anderson.
Anderson here.
Kamel.
No, here.
Condon.
Condon here.
Crow.
Here.
DeMaria.
Here.
Linehan.
Linehan here.
Murphy.
Murphy here.
O'Malley.
O'Malley here.
Betafora.
Got here.
Winslow.
Winslow here.
Sika.
Speaker here.
All accounted for.
Under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those of you in attendance, please be informed MATV, along with resident John Mayara, will be recording this evening's meeting. So just be aware there will be audio and video recording of this evening's meeting. First order of business.
Guests and citizens, we have Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors will speak to the council. Meera and Akola Krishnan was the first ones that we had, but they may not be the ones tonight, as well as AJ Kumar will report how things are going with mutual aid in the stage of the pandemic.
Great. Councilor Linehan, do you want to speak to this since they are your guests this evening? And then you can
Sure.
introduce who you know is coming before us this evening?
Yeah, so Clerk Lucy and I had a chat earlier this week. I think the 3 original guests that we invited had a conflict. So we have on the line Anna Jeffrey, and I don't see Kit Bridge, but I think she's the other representative from Malden Neighbors who's here to take their place. So I'm really pleased to invite them tonight. I think they've been doing a lot of analysis of how their mutual aid work has been going over the summer. And since we last heard them speak in the spring, a few of the counselors I know have had a bit of a recap of what they've been working on and what they sort of foresee as some of the issues moving ahead. And so I thought it would be helpful for all of us, as well as the community, to hear what they've been working on and what they need help with, and kind of where they see trends going as we enter this stage of the pandemic. So I don't know if we have Kit. I do see Anna on.
Kit is in the attendees list.
Oh, okay. So
If you
maybe
could
we
promote
need
her
to.
panelist.
I thought I just saw her name in one of the squares when we first started the meeting, to be honest.
I put her on a panelist, not a attendee.
Did she maybe leave and
was
then come back?
listed. She was listed on my screen when we started the meeting. I wonder.
Oh, she's there now. She's at the bottom.
Yeah, she is.
Panelist now.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry about that confusion. There was a little bit of a mix up with the link, so I wound up with Kit's name very briefly. That's what happened there.
We're all here now.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I'm actually going to turn off my video. I seem to be having some bandwidth issues, and I don't want to miss anything. So apologies that I'm going to go.
Okay, then I guess I will get started. My name is Kit Bridge. I am one of the organizers of Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors. I'm here tonight with Anna Joffrey. We'd like to share a little bit of information with everybody about how things have been going recently, and focusing with particular emphasis on housing, as we are coming up on the end of the eviction moratorium. So thank you very much to the City Council for having us. Again, this was, thank you for the invitation. So just an update from the last time. Since we started in March, we've answered 540 requests for help. That includes over 20 COVID positive families that needed to have items delivered to them for the entirety of their isolation, things like groceries, pharmacy items, food, cleaning supplies, and masks, basically so they could remain isolated. In addition to that, we have people who were helping out every week after they ask us for help. We went through and took a look at, in aggregate, how many households we're delivering to on a weekly basis. And this is just our organization and our volunteers doing these deliveries. This doesn't count Bread of Life's own delivery drivers or the things they're distributing that aren't deliveries. We have 132 households every week that are getting food delivered to them from our volunteers. We make deliveries Monday through Saturday right now. We have 87 households getting weekly food from Bread of Life and 45 households receiving weekly groceries from the YMCA. And just a few weeks ago, Bread of Life announced on Facebook that they had served the most households in their entire history, which was 215 households on a single Friday. If you've driven around town while food pantries are open, you probably also have noticed that there are long lines around the corners and that you can be standing in line for up to an hour just to get food. So also wanted to update everyone on that. In addition to delivering food from these partner organizations in the community, we have emergency food supplies on hand. We call them go bags, but we use it to supplement the weekly items that people get from our other sources, or if we need to provide food very quickly. For example, last week, Anna actually went and delivered food to an unhoused woman, and more than once, actually, I think twice within a couple of days. And we also do supply deliveries for folks, disinfectant spray, hand sanitizer, paper supplies, things like that. The need is definitely increasing. We don't have a lot of people who are asking to be taken off of our delivery lists, but we do have people who are being added on an indefinite basis every single day. So I will pass it off then to Anna, who will give us a little more information.
So first off, thank you, Kit, and thank you to the City Council for letting us come here and speak. I just want to be really clear with everybody who's listening, not just the counselors, but the people who are listening at home. All of these people that we're helping are real people, and they're our neighbors. We call ourselves Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors, but it's very literal. I actually found out somebody that I was helping out used to live on the same street as me. So it's extremely literal. I want to give you all a couple of just peeks into the types of stories that we're seeing, obviously without trying to, betray anybody's trust. We think it's very important that people's privacy be respected. But we've seen some really crazy situations. We've had people who had a disastrous move where almost all of their furniture had to be abandoned. There was one household that reached out to us with multiple teenage boys on the spectrum. And if you have teenage boys, you know how hard it is to keep them fed, but then add on to that the sensory issues for autistic kids. We had one neighbor who had to move from one MHA building to another with about 10 days notice and no ability to carry her own stuff, who very easily could have wound up in that same position where she had to leave a lot of things behind. There was one mother who was an essential worker. She depleted all of her savings on childcare during the shutdown. And now she's behind on her rent and she has to choose between paying the rent and paying childcare so she can continue to work. We've had parents looking for diapers. Just today, we had an elderly neighbor reaching out because she needed a $6 copay covered because she spent $6 at the grocery store and she couldn't afford her asthma medication. A lot of these cases need significant legal help beyond what obviously we as volunteers with no legal background can supply, but also, you know, city life has been unable to help some of them. And a lot of these people, you know, these are single parents, you know, these are elderly, these are families with disabled people. There are vulnerable neighbors. It's really typical to have people in a situation where they have just enough money to pay a little bit of the food or a little bit of the rent or a little bit of the utilities, but not everything. Raft and Irma take very long time to actually respond. And people have difficulty applying for things. They might not have access to a laptop. They might have a language barrier. People need a lot of support getting even the help that is available. What I really want to talk with everybody about today, though, is how important it is to keep people housed. I cannot explain to you the significance between helping somebody who has a house and somebody who is on the street. Somebody who is unhoused, I can't give them canned food. They can't heat it up. They don't have a kitchen. They don't have pots and pans. They might not even have a can opener. And they can't carry this stuff around. It's extra weight. I can give them hand sanitizer, but I can't give them soap because where are they going to wash their hands? We can't get them on a Bread of Life delivery or the YMCA delivery because they don't know where they're going to be in 2 days. It makes it much harder for them to sign up for state benefits and other things. The mental health cost of homelessness is huge too. You've got stress and sleep deprivation. People have fewer meals, unreliable access to water, having trouble finding, you know, places to take care of their basic hygiene needs. All of that makes it harder for them to get the help that they need to get back into housing, to get back in a situation where they can just be stable. And, you know, beyond the bleeding heart liberal, you know, I want to make sure all of my neighbors are okay. We have to consider the public health cost of having unhoused people during a pandemic. We tell people to wash their hands for 20 seconds, but how are they going to do that without a sink? How do you stay warm and healthy in the winter with nowhere safe to stay? We had somebody over the summer who was stuck in his car. When the AC broke, he had nowhere to go but into the grocery store. How can you isolate when you do not have a home to isolate in?
So we already have people in Malden who are struggling with housing insecurity right now. A couple who even received assistance from RAFT, so RAFT approved them, had landlords who would not accept RAFT. In one instance, they would not accept RAFT to pay for a month of rent unless the tenant could pay back rent of $2,300 all at once, which he could not do. He was being pressured by his landlord to enter a tenant at will agreement, and he really needed access to a lawyer. We referred him to City Life for help, but that's no guarantee of assistance. Another resident who was supporting a family of 5 who lost his job due to COVID, fell behind on his rent. He was very resourceful. He talked to all of the agencies he was supposed to, ABCD, City Life, Housing Families. He qualified for financial assistance through ABCD, but the landlord in that case, again, refused to sign the document and he couldn't receive the help. He paid what he could through unemployment payments. And the landlord recently told him she was selling his apartment and that he needed to be out by the end of the month. The resident's worried and he has nowhere to go. And his only income right now is unemployment, which isn't enough to pay rent for a 5-person household anywhere in the greater Boston area. So, you know, we're sending people the resources we have, and it's still not enough. You know, even with funding available, the time it takes to process a lot of these requests, get the documentation required, you know, it's difficult for people to even access the money that is available. And sometimes even landlords don't want to cooperate. So I think just to reemphasize, these people are our neighbors. I don't want to see my neighbors suffer. I want to do what I can to help them. And we would like to ask both the city council as a body, as individuals, people who are watching right now, we need to start working on creating a safety net for people who may have eviction or foreclosure processes started against them as soon as the 17th of this month. They need access to legal assistance. Getting together pro bono legal assistance for residents would be a gigantic boon. I don't know if we have an association of lawyers in town, but volunteering some time to help folks with legal assistance would be huge. Providing mediation with landlords and banks so that a lot of these families who may not have English as their primary language or who may not understand all of the ins and outs of these systems or understand the platforms they need to use to access them. People who can effectively mediate are needed. Identifying housing pools and finding couches and guest room for people to sleep in. We've received people on our page looking for housing that is affordable, looking for anything, and it's been difficult to be able to help. We also want to recognize that Malden has no homeless shelters. We have a warming center, which had to close early last winter due to COVID. I volunteered there, and I can say that it is a small space. There's not very much room for people to spread out. I don't know about what the ventilation situation is, but in a warming center, people can't sleep. They're not supposed to be able to sleep. They're not supposed to be able to lay down. And people are locked up in there for an entire night, basically, to stay warm. I feel that during a pandemic, we are going to need better solutions and more resources. It's going to be a hard winter for everyone, especially the unhoused. And we need to think of other outside of the box ideas. It's a time for crazy ideas and throwing stuff against the wall and see what sticks. I think we need more mental health support available in our city. It's very clear based on individuals that we've helped that we're dealing with a lot of people with complicated cases, with complicated histories, who are dealing with mental health issues and 6 months already of isolation. We're going to be doing more isolation and the weather is going to be colder. So creating opportunities for people who are in lockdown to make some kind of contact, phone calls, postcards, Zoom hangouts. In the MHA buildings, we talked to some people while we were helping that woman move that we mentioned. And, a lot of them said their only social lives revolved around events that were happening in their buildings and that they hadn't really had an opportunity to socialize since all of this started. Investing in public art inside of MHA buildings or providing some way for the folks in those buildings to feel connected to the community outside of the four walls that they live in. Volunteering to call your neighbors is also something that we have volunteers to do. We connect them with a neighbor who needs someone just to talk to. And I would like to ask of the city in particular, please hire social workers who are on payroll and who are available, who can help the mother who's freaking out at 3 a.m. because she's gone through her last diaper and doesn't know where she's going to get the rest of them tomorrow.
And I know that's already a lot of asks, but I'm going to do another couple of quick ones. This is for more mundane stuff. Malden Neighbors is always in need of, people who are willing to spend a little bit of time helping out, people who are willing to put a little bit of resources towards things. Drivers are desperately needed. We support, Bread of Life and the YMCA by getting drivers to those places and delivering food to people who can't necessarily get out there on their own or can't spend time waiting in line. But those drivers are getting towards the end of their rope. Some of them, we really do need people to come and take up some of that stress. You can join our community page on Facebook to assist each other directly, whether you have stuff you need yourself or you want to offer help to other people. It's an active and vibrant community, and the more we come together to, talk through, who needs help and who has resources to provide, the better we're going to be. You can also use our website to offer assistance. We're at maldenneighbors.org. And we are always, always, always in need of volunteers who can translate Portuguese, Haitian Creole, Spanish, and the other languages that are in town. Remember that Malden speaks a lot of languages, and a lot of our organizers, unfortunately, only speak English. So everybody who can help out translating is just super helpful. Last thing before we open this up. In times of crisis, a lot of people go to that Mr. Rogers quote where he says, "Look for the helpers." But we're the adults now, and it's time for us to be the helpers. Thank you so much for having us.
Coming in. Just on one quick note to talk about Kit really fast before I go to Councilor O'Malley. The mayor's office is actually working with housing families at the moment to try and see if we can get some grants for some of the hotels that are up over in Ward 8, Upper Broadway, to see if we have some places available that we can actually help people have a place to stay this winter once the cold weather comes. So there'll be more information coming out on that as soon as we have it available.
That's really, really great news. A lot of the homeless folks we were working with over the summer, the city was able to put them up for maybe 2 nights at a time, but then they were back trying to find a place to stay. So if we could find a place for people to be more permanently rather than bouncing from place to place, that would be awesome.
Yes, as soon as we have some more information, we'll be in touch with you, okay?
Thank you.
Councilor O'Malley, you have your hand up.
I think that might have been from before, but I'll take the
Oh,
opportunity.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll take the opportunity. I thank you for presenting. We all know that the work that you guys are doing is not easy, and the number of hands is just not enough to do everything that needs to be done. One of the things that I have been doing, because when we were discussing how to best utilize some of our funds from the Community Preservation Act, one of the questions that came up is whether or not we would be more effective in keeping people in their homes if we were providing legal services to our residents to make sure that they're doing everything that they are entitled to when it comes to the eviction process. And so I've been looking into, legal clinics with some of the universities that we have in Boston. And I'm still doing that research, but like, for instance, I know that Harvard's pro bono legal aid department specifically works with, City Life and Vita Urbana, which I know is an organization that's pretty active in Malden. So that research is ongoing, but hopefully we can get more local Malden lawyers and lawyers in the greater Boston area to help with that particular ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Linehan, you're next.
Thank you, Madam President. And I really am sorry about the camera issues I'm having. Of course, the one night we've got something on the docket about keeping cameras on is when I have my first significant tech issues. I really want to thank and for coming. That was really helpful and also obviously really sad information. I had a couple of follow-up questions, somewhat related to what Councilor O'Malley was just talking about with pro bono legal help or tapping a network of attorneys. Are we connected at all to some of the trainings that housing family, I guess, in anticipation of the moratorium on evictions expiring?
You broke up, Councilor Linehan, by the way, just FYI.
All right. Do you want me to try again with the camera off? I'm so sorry.
No, you might just have to repeat the question because I think some of it was dicey on at least my end. I don't know the rest of the council.
Mine as well.
No, thanks for letting me know. I guess the main question I had was whether Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors is in touch with housing families about some of the pro bono attorney trainings that they have coming up to try and recruit local lawyers to be able to help, I guess, residents who may be facing an eviction once the moratorium expires.
Sure, I can answer that question. The answer is yes, we are in touch with them. They have already done some advertising on our Facebook page looking for pro bono lawyers. One of the reasons why we would really encourage us to look more local and more city-based is simply that city life and housing families are slammed. They're overwhelmed. And when someone needs help right now, today, that just can't happen with at least the capacity they have right now. So, the more, if I can call my friend Joe, who can give my buddy some legal advice, like that's going to be way more effective in helping people deal with emergency situations than trying to refer them. We've been very fortunate that a lot of these community organizations are working with us directly. But even then, they have a fixed capacity to handle the cases.
Yes, thank you. I'm definitely hearing the same thing. And I just, as just a piece of information, I know at the end of our session in the spring and summer, we were talking about doing a follow-up mailer to all the households in the city, and we've really not been able to move forward with that because of those capacity issues. I've periodically been reaching out to the different agencies that we would refer folks to, and they're really saying, look, we can barely handle the caseload that we have now. And I'm aware that RAFT and IRMA, those are not even agencies. They're just programs, right, nested in other organizations that never expected to have the kind of onslaught that they're having now. And I think they were a very small staff before, and it was plenty that they could handle. But now there's the same number of people that are trying to process all of these applications, and it is just slow. So I guess my only other question related to that would be, I know that Councilor Crowe helped you all to get a fund set up through the United Way with some seed funding. Could you talk a little bit about what that's being used for? Are there opportunities for us to do additional fundraising, or how might the community get engaged with that?
I think I'm probably going to end up deferring to Councilor Crowe on this. We were looped into the announcement. It was very exciting. The website is live. I think at this point, it's about pushing people to donate to the fund. I believe that the folks who are receiving benefits from the fund are the same organizations we were just talking about: Bread of Life, YMCA, Housing Families, a handful of other things. I'll let Councilor Crowe speak because I believe she's kind of closer to the managing of the fund.
Councilor Linehan, are you all set to listen to Councilor Crowe before
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilor Crowe.
And I don't mean to jump the line. I see there's other councilors. And I think Kit hit the nail right on the head. And it really is raising money. And I've been reaching out to the United Way to see how much we have raised. And we've not gotten sort of like the definite sort of answer, but some of it should take care of, and it depends on how much money we raise. I know that Councilor Spadafora had said really to look at sort of the corporate matches. So we're sort of looking into that a little bit, again, with some companies that, like a National Grid would be fantastic they're based in Malden. So if we rental assistance, it really is, we know it's a huge issue. It's a huge undertaking to even working with just to start, and they do a lot of mediation. I think to your point, especially for some of the smaller landlords, that's a 2-family house. And with ABCD, when they were doing it with the city, it was a huge lift. So again, how much money we raise, but hopefully we'll be able to take care of some of the child care issues and some of the back bill pay, and a lot of those other issues. So it does free up some money. So those people that can pay a little bit of this and a little bit of that, if we take care a couple of those things off their plate. So it is, I'm going to do another push, and I do have to, maybe I'm happy to reach back out to Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors and the rest of my counselors and see how we push it out to make sure that we are raising as much money as we possibly can, because the point is really to get that money into the hands of Malden residents. So again, we do have the YMCA and Bread of Life in there, but that is really because we felt like you give $1,000 to the YMCA that can, purchase a truckload of food. It really exponentially, sends that food out there. So those along the lines that I do see as well. But I just really wanted to say thank you for all that work that you're doing, and we'll work together to hope get everybody through this situation.
Thank you, Councilor Crowe. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I just want to thank Kit and Anna and all the people involved with Malden Neighbor doing this critical work and sharing this information. I mean, it's very sobering, and we know there's so much more work to go forward. So really appreciate that. I am involved with the Affordable Housing Trust, and we are talking about that. The MRA is working on the Affordable Housing Trust, and one of the things we're talking about is you've had the first round of rental assistance, looking to implement the second round with those were basically 1 month rent checks for some people, but looking at some alternatives that would have longer rent checks as well. So that's something that we are starting to put together as well. So what we can do, we will do. So, but thank you, and always love getting out on Fridays. I can't make it out this Friday to take some food out to the neighbors with Malden Helping Neighbors and GMAX. So, but thank you so much for all the work you do. Thank you.
Councilor DiMaria.
Thank you, Madam President. And thank you, Anna and Kit, for such a really enlightening presentation. I know you guys started back in March and April, and that's when this whole COVID thing started, and you sprung to action, and you got yourselves organized. And I know back then, while we didn't think it was that important, we called hundreds of seniors, hundreds of them, and it was probably some of their only phone call checking in on them. So that was the seed and the foundation of all this good work that you're doing. I know every counselor in the city really appreciates it. So just to recap your priority of needs, one is drivers. Is that what I heard? Delivery people?
Delivery drivers are an immediate need, as a very concrete individual thing that people can do. Yes.
You need a truck for that, or can you just use your own car?
Car is fine. Probably not a Geo Metro, but any normal car would be just fine. A lot of people will have up to 5 deliveries on a day, and that might be 1 or 2 bags.
Okay. And translators, that's another priority. Is that right? So would you say those are your top priorities?
Those are our top immediate priorities. I think housing is, again,
of course,
super critical because of the exponential, snowballing of needs once somebody becomes unhoused.
Right. Well, again, I appreciate everything you have been doing and every volunteer at Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Thank you so much. I yield my time.
Thank you. Councilor Anderson.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Anna and Kit, for your impassioned delivery of what you all are doing. I mean, anyone listening to what you had to say couldn't help but being moved by the dedication that you've both shown in such a critical area. For us on the council, we do legislative stuff. For you all, roll up your sleeves and get down at the grassroots level and doing the things, neighbor helping neighbor. And so I can't say enough about how much we appreciate that. I think for those of us on the council, there are some other things that we can do. We can break out our own checkbooks, council members, and contributions to this organization would certainly go a long ways. I've already done that once and would be looking to do that again. bottom line for me is to say thank you so much for what you are doing. This very important need. I spent some time last winter at the warming center and got a chance to roll up my sleeves and see firsthand that the people who are in this desperate need are our neighbors that may have just had bad luck. Something happened, and these you got the perfect name, Neighbors Helping Neighbors. The folks who are in need are our neighbors, and we need to do all that we can to help them. So, ladies, thank you so much for what you are doing. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam President. And so I guess I have a couple of things to say. First of all, Kit Bridge, it's very nice to meet you and see you face to face. I know we're spoken on the phone. I know, hi. So that's nice. Anna, I want to say I'm sad you kind of left me and moved out of Ward 5 and went to Ward 2, but we're still all Malden, right? I know, but I just kind of want to relate a little bit of a tale that I had, which is that really the first time I met Kit was I have 4 centenarians in Malden Ward 5 that I know about, which is absolutely amazing. 3 of whom live alone. So, the elderly are somebody that I'm really concerned with, in the situation. But I had a 90-year-old over off, won't say where she lived, but, kind of off Forest Street somewhere. And her 70-year-old daughter called me from Maine because she needed food. And Kit, through the Malden Helping Neighbors network, arranged for her and she had very specific things she needed. It wasn't just kind of bread of life delivery. It was, very specific type of orange soda that she wanted, et cetera. And they found someone to go and actually shop for her. So, and she was so thankful. So, it's moments like that I think just make our seniors really realize that people do care about them and are willing to take the time to do the extra mile to make sure that they have in their later years what they need. So just a little personal story that I just kind of wanted to share with everyone tonight about, how Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors happen to affect an elderly person in Ward 5. But I actually, Councilor Crowe, I'm going to put you on the spot again, because I think this is a really opportune time to talk about, we really didn't mention the name Malden Together, I think it's called, Malden Working Together. And the fact that it's, maybe you can go into a little more detail about that. It is the United Way and all the money will come to Malden residents and it's tax deductible, et cetera. I think that's really important for anyone who's listening to us to hear tonight.
Yes, I apologize. It is called the Malden Together Fund. And as Kit said, it is live on the United Way page. You can find that. And it should be, the live link should be up there very shortly. If it says give help or get help, so you can get help too right there. And it is, because it is managed through the United Way, although United Way takes no money to manage the account. They just the fiscal sort of agent that takes it in. It is a tax deductible donation. Just like you would give to the United Way. When I did give through that link, and it did ask if it wanted to be counted as my my business, as I work for the YWCA, and we do a campaign every year, so it counts towards my work campaign as well. So I do think it's a great way, and all the money does go to Malden residents. We are trying to find the easiest way to get it to people with some accountability, but with not some of the hurdles that some of the other, to get access to funds around RAFT and all those things, some of those things that are kind of arduous for, people that are struggling as it is into getting all that documentation. So trying to find sort of the shortcut beeline, keeping accountability with actually access. So, and I again just want to thank Maria Luis, who really from the mayor's office, who really put her feet to to the ground and help me, sort of get this up and running. So once I have how much we're raising so far, and I will send out the link again tomorrow, and I'll put it up on Facebook, and I will ask the city to do the same. And I think it's a great way to give to the United Way, but really comes right back to Malden residents. So thank you, Councilor.
You're welcome, and thank you, Madam President. I yield my time.
Great, thank you. Councilor Condon?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to thank both Kit and Anna, who is a Ward 2 resident, for their efforts. Are you a nonprofit, Malden Helping Neighbors, registered with the state of 501c? I think it is.
No, we are not registered as a nonprofit. We are a mutual aid organization. We are not beholden to a lot of things, but that gives us a lot of opportunity to do things like just go out and buy a bunch of bleach because that's what people need right now. It gives us a little bit of freedom to go a little bit faster than some other organizations. It obviously is a little bit of a handicap because when people donate to us, it is not a nonprofit.
I'm not sure if the other councilors know, but the fact that the United Way is involved, are we allowed to give any kind of mitigation money or WAD money to that organization, knowing that it would come back to our Malden residents?
I believe that because we are not a 501c3, we are not able to receive funds from the United Way.
That's too bad, because I couldn't think of a better way for us as ward councilors to be involved with giving mitigation. I mean, we'll fix a sidewalk, we'll take down a tree, we'll use our ward money for stuff like that, fix a street, but we can't get it to the people that really need it in our ward. I applaud your efforts, should be congratulated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Kamel?
I can't say too much that my colleagues haven't already said, but I do want to recognize that not only are you putting in the physical and physical labor and probably monetary, but the emotional toll it's going to take to keep going at this over and over again. And want to recognize that in and of itself is a tremendous feat. So I want to thank you on behalf of everybody for what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Kamel. Councilor O'Malley for the second time.
Thank you, thank you, Council President. I'll be very brief. I also want to acknowledge the fact that at the beginning, one of the main asks here was to help us figure out how to keep people from losing their homes, because that is kind of a central thing here in terms of the compounding issues that you face when you're living on the street. We all received recently a memo from the MRA, Evan Spatrini, who's been working on a inclusionary zoning study, which I believe is either complete or almost complete. So hopefully we can commit to moving that forward before the end of the year and getting that going to a joint planning and ordinance public hearing, so we can make sure that any new projects that come out will have the required amount of affordable and moderately priced housing to help stem the bleeding that we're facing in our community. So hopefully we can rally around that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. And on behalf of the chair, I want to thank you ladies for coming in and giving us an update of what is desperately needed in the city of Malden with the Malden Neighbors Helping Neighbors. So thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. City Clerk, next order of business.
So next order of business will be public comment. I took as council rules, I took the first 15 emails I got after the agenda was publicly posted. These are all concerned Roosevelt Park, so I'll read them if you could. To whom it may concern, my name is Christine McDonough. I'm a Ward 5 resident of 21 years. I urge you please vote yes on the Roosevelt Park Turf Project. I feel it's a great investment for the city of Malden for the years to come. Many will benefit from the investment, and you will make our city even better. Thank you for your consideration. Christine McDonough. Dear City Council, as parents of school-age children in the city that participates in not only youth sports and recreational programs, but have kids that just like to play at the park with their friends, we understand the importance of having space for all of this to happen. This past weekend, we had a travel baseball game at a multi-purpose field similar to what is being proposed in Malden, and it was amazing to see the use of the field was getting by kids of all ages and their families. We had our baseball game going on at one end. There were a few kids and an adult playing soccer, middle school age kids playing pickup football. A group of what looked like high school is just sitting around talking, an organized flag football team of really young kids practicing, and even a family picnicking. There were tons of bikes, so the kids were obviously rode their bikes there. There was social distancing going on. People had their masks on, and everyone was enjoying the beautiful day. We have the potential for this to happen in Malden. Please vote yes on this project. Let's try to bring this kind of environment to our city parks. Sincerely, Kate and Mike Bowdridge, 24 Quincy Street. Please, 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 turf Salem Wood Park. The children of Malden deserve a good, safe park to play softball on. I'm a lifelong resident of Malden, and nothing has been done to improve the park since I was a child. Leanne Bello. Hello, Mr. Lucy. Please take this message as a vote in favor of having the turf project at the Salem Wood School Field go forward. I'm a lifelong Malden resident with two children aged 10 and 13 that play numerous sports in the city of Malden. I'm also a coach for Pop-On and football, Malden lacrosse, and always volunteering my time for Joe Levine and Malden recreation activities. I feel another potential year-round field with nice centralized location and ample parking and space would benefit the entire city for sports and residents to share and use. Thank you in advance. Kind regards, Jason Monroe. To whom it may concern, I'm hearing that Roosevelt Park is in jeopardy of being stopped. I hope that turf is still the plan since Malden cannot maintain any grass baseball fields in the city. They're all in rough shape, and if Roosevelt is going to redone his grass field, it will only be a matter of a few years before it becomes in disrepair. Attached to some photos from some of our baseball diamonds across the city. Some don't drain when it rains and takes days to be able to play on, and some are overgrown with grass in the infield and don't even resemble a baseball field. Kevin Mora sent along pictures. Dear City Council, please see the attached email that I sent last year in regards to the Roosevelt project. I would like to add how people like myself that live steps away from Roosevelt continue to be ignored by the same people who claim they are acting in the best interests of the school and its neighbors. Also, if you are on the fence about changing your vote, I ask you to stand strong and not give it into the loud minority. Malden needs this, the kids need this, and families for years to come needs this. Sincerely, Brian McDonough. Hello, I reside in Ward 3 of Malden, and my children utilize the parks of Malden for many youth sports, softball, baseball, lacrosse, to name a few. And I was saddened to hear that the Roosevelt Salem Wood project has been placed on hold and is in jeopardy of not becoming a turf field that can be played in all season and in weather conditions. As a resident of Malden, I was very excited to see this project taking place for the city, residents, and all whom use the park. When our teams use Roosevelt, we have very limited season depending upon the weather and poor conditions of the field. Many of the other fields in Malden are in poor condition, but Roosevelt is by far the worst field. I implore you to move forward with this turf and beautiful renovation that is placed on hold. Howard Park is a great example of a well-kept, playable field in Malden, and I would love to see more parks like Howard. Thanks for all you do to make our city wonderful. Sincerely, April Mora. Good evening. See the attached letter. Dear councilors, first I would like to thank and commend you for your commitment to serving the city of Malden, specifically in regard to the amount of time and effort all of you have put into Roosevelt Park Improvement Project. My name is Charlie Conifrey, 220 Middle Street, West Newbury, Mass., and I am the Director of Athletics, Physical, and Health Education for the Malden Public Schools, K through 12. I am reaching out to you today to express my continued support for Roosevelt Improvement Project. In a previous letter sent to the council, I expressed my memories of growing up at 19 Waite Street and the hundreds of hours spent on Roosevelt playing field youth sports, as well as playing with my friends some 25 years ago. I have fond memories playing on that field. However, the field condition today is not much different than it was over 2 decades ago. I feel strongly that we're doing our children, youth, and adolescents a disservice by not providing a state-of-the-art, multi-use, safe playing environment. Neighboring communities, Everett, Somerville, Revere, to name a few, have continued to make considerable improvements to their play areas throughout their cities. especially play areas in the form of turf fields, many of which are adjacent to K-8 public schools. Throughout this process, I've heard the opposition, and I must say that I respect their points of view and even agree to disagree. I agree that it is important and vital to protect green space where appropriate, especially in urban areas. In a perfect world without fiduciary concerns, I would advocate for all of our fields and playing areas to remain natural grass, and I think most would agree. However, the maintenance of a natural grass field with continuing high use cannot be overlooked, and in my opinion, out of the Malden DPW's capability. Furthermore, it is important to note that the Department of Public Works for the City of Malden has and continues to do a tremendous job under the direction of Mr. Knox. In fact, I would say an exemplary job, maintaining our current green space playing areas on top of the numerous other responsibilities Mr. Knox and his team currently perform. Putting further stress on our DPW by going in the direction of natural grass field of this size also has financial implications, including the amount of time and care it would take to properly maintain a natural grass playing field the area size of Roosevelt Park. Would put a strain on the Malden DPW, a strain I feel is unnecessary. At the last City Council meeting, suggestions were put forward to help protect existing green space in other areas of the city. I fully support this initiative and look forward to hearing more. The Roosevelt Field project, as proposed, has the potential to meet and exceed the needs and expectations of thousands of youth for years to come. A valid and imperative point that cannot be overlooked in the social emotional needs of our students, families, and other community members. During a time of great angst and increased levels of stress and anxiety, the perfect medicine is physical activity, especially physical activity that can be done outdoors nearly year-round. The current condition of our Roosevelt Field does not provide such opportunities. We at the Salemwood School are limited in our ability to provide outdoor playing opportunities for approximately 1,200 students due to the field's current condition. It is no secret that the COVID pandemic has caused numerous issues, including these issues due to quarantine restrictions and time of play. Increased time of play is needed now more than ever before. Peer-to-peer interaction is an absolute necessity to the overall well-being, including socially, emotionally, and physically. I have heard the opposition points to the cost of the project being too much, and how can the City of Malden afford such an expense during a pandemic? I would argue, how can we not? I see this as an investment in our children, in our youth, in our city. As an employee of the Malden Public Schools, I have and always will continue to make decisions based on what is best for our children. A perspective that is student-centered and is an imperative that we navigate through difficult times. Our youth deserves the best opportunities, and it is our responsibility to do everything we can to improve such opportunities. In closing, I continue to offer my full support of the project moving forward. If you'd like to discuss further, I'd be happy to hear from you. Sincerely, Charles Conifrey, Director of Athletics, Physical Education and Health, Malden Public Schools, K-12. To whom it may concern, I'm writing in support of the Roosevelt Turf Project. As a lifelong Malden resident and mother of 2 children, I'm all for green spaces. That said, since I was young, Roosevelt Park has never been unstable nor green. Games that were often canceled due to swampy conditions and poor drainage. The drainage issues were never addressed, and the field remains unusable for most of the year and still today. Only add in a prime spot for mosquitoes and undesirable disease-carrying insects. Looking at the information presented during the course of these discussions, turf seems like the best, most efficient, and financially sound decision for children to have space to run and play safely. There's far too much going on these days that rob children of their childhood. Let's not let poor field conditions and maintenance be added to the list. Sincerely, Stephanie Matuccio. Good evening. My name is Bibi Rodriguez. I hope when you receive this message, you find yourself well during these unpleasant times. Let me start by saying I have 2 daughters that attend the BB school. They both are involved in tons of sports programs in Malden, mainly softball. That being said, I have been coaching softball for 7 years, and I truly enjoy giving back to my city. I would hope you do consider turfing Salemwood. We have been through so much with that field, with the flooding and all the bugs on the late summer nights. That field would take 2 days to drain. One of our biggest softball seasons is in spring, which is ran by the Malden Rec. We all know how much rain we get in the spring, and these kids don't get enough time out there because the field is always flooded. Turfing this field will only make our program very much more bigger, and that's what we need. Let's keep these kids safe off the streets and enjoying a all-new field. Thanks for taking your time and reading this message. Take care. Bibi Rodriguez. Good evening. I am writing support of the new field that has been promised for years at the Salem School. I'm a resident of Malden for the past 18 years, and we watched as nothing was done at the field. It is a disaster and somewhat of an embarrassment to our city. We are fortunate to be part of a Malden softball community. We have traveled to several parks within our great city and outside of Malden. With the success of the Malden softball program, we thought this field was going to be upgraded for the past several years. Still, there it sits in complete disarray. I urge the City of Malden to please finish what it started and what it promised to our youth. Please give us a field that will help for years to come. In addition, I believe in looking at the cost, the turf field will actually save the city money in the long run, and they can expect a return on their investment in a few short years. Respect for the others, Jody Haywood, 11 Noble Street, Malden, to whom it may concern. I believe it is important for this project to get approved. The poor conditions and maintenance of the parks is not good for our children. Support the needs for turf at Salemwood, where at its worst, park drainage in the city, to state that with no matter how much money they put into it, will eventually look like all the other parks if they do not support turf fields. This is very important. We all know the nightmares we have dealt with in the past on that field. These kids deserve to have and play on a new turf field. Thank you for your time. Best regards, Linda Vega. I'm writing today to show my support of installing turf at the Salemwood fields. I have been involved with Malden sports since 1978, starting as a kid playing football and baseball at Roosevelt Park to the start of my coaching career in 1991 with Malden Pop Warner. I've also coached baseball, softball, and lacrosse throughout the years. Coaching softball the last 10 years in Malden, I've had to deal with the field conditions at Salemwood, from the poor drainage to large divots in the outfield. The biggest complaint would be the 4 o'clock storms that would roll in before a night game that lasted 25 minutes but would cause 3 days of cancellations. With a turf field, this would not be an issue. As for Pop Warner football, if this field was turf and available to the whole program for practices in September and October, it would be much easier process for our families that have a football playing practicing at Maplewood Park and a daughter cheering in the Salemwood gym. Parents would be able to go to one location for both children. It would be also easy to ease the burden of the board members running from location to location for paperwork or simple practice coverage. There is no downside to turf in the field. Thanks, Tom Robertson. And good evening, City Councils. I would like to express my support for the turf field renovations at the Roosevelt Field. I started playing softball at 5 years old in Malden, and at the age of 28, I'm still playing softball in Malden. I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to play on turf field. I have had the chance of playing on turf many times, and excited to finally be able to play on one in my hometown. Thank you, Emily Watkins.
Are we good?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Okay, so next order of business.
Take a sip here. Next order of business, approval of minutes, paper 293-20, minutes of the meeting of September 22nd, and paper 294-20, minutes of the meeting of September 29th.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
On Councilor Kamel's motion, seconded by Councilor Winslow. Did you raise your hand? Oh, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
Kamel.
Kamel, yes.
Condon.
Condon, yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley.
I apologize. I didn't have a chance to review them, and one of them has to do with the conditions we set for those Comcast petitions. So I'm going to vote present and just double check the stuff that was in that. Sorry.
Okay, Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Tika.
Tika, yes.
Minutes are approved.
Next order of business.
Paper 295-20, order that the city clerk notify and warn the inhabitants of the city of Malden who are qualified to vote in the state election to vote at their respective wards and precincts on Tuesday, 3rd of November, 2020, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the following purpose. Electors of President and Vice President of the United States, Senator in Congress for this Commonwealth, Representative in Congress for the 5th District, Counselor for the 6th District, Senator in the General Court for the 5th District, Representatives in the General Court for the 32nd, 33rd, and 35th Middlesex District, Register of Probate, Middlesex County, and School Committee, Northeast Metropolitan District.
I'll make a motion
What's your motion, Councilor Spatafora?
to accept, right?
To accept, yeah.
Councilor Spatafora's motion to accept this order. The clerk will call the roll.
We have no
second?
option. We have to accept.
You got a second?
Yeah.
Second. A second.
Councilor Crowe.
Could I say one thing before we begin?
Yeah, absolutely, Clerk.
I just want to, while I have the opportunity to tell people about early voting, is going to be at the Senior Center beginning on October 17th. It's going to be for 14 days. So on the 17th and 18th, which is a Saturday and Sunday, and the following 24th and the 25th, which is a Saturday and Sunday, the voting will be at the Senior Center from 10 in the morning to 3 p.m. And then during the week, on the Monday, I want to make sure I get this straight here. Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, voting will be from 8 to 4. The two Tuesdays will be from 8 to 7. And the two Fridays will be 8 to 12. So it runs from October 17th to October 30th. And it's all posted on the website. Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
Kamel.
Well, yes.
Condon.
Condon, yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley.
Yes.
Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Carries 11-0. Paper 305-20, order authorizing the Malden Licensing Board to consider a one-time reduction in Section 12 license renewal fees for 2021 due to the impact of COVID-19 and approving any one-time reduction in 2021 Section 12 license renewal fees. The Malden Licensing Board, in its discretion, determines is appropriate.
Is it?
Go ahead, Councilor Spatafora.
I think we need a motion to, is it placed on file?
We're actually going to need to suspend docket rules. So really fast, I'm going to talk about this just to give everybody a little bit of a heads up. The mayor has initiated a request that the liquor board waive the fees, consider to waive the fees for restaurants / clubs, not package stores, just the Section 12 fees that are in our ordinances. So in order for them to approve these fees, we have to vote on it. So I'm hoping that we can suspend docket rules tonight because the liquor board has a meeting on October 27th. The city clerk has a letter from the mayor that he's going to read real fast. So after that, I'll entertain a motion to suspend rules to adopt this.
Dear members of the City Council, I write seeking your support of the paper authorizing the Malden Licensing Board to consider a reduction for restaurants in Section 12 license renewal fees for calendar year 2021 due to the impact of COVID-19. As you know, our local restaurants have suffered tremendously during this pandemic. The impact has resulted in having to close to the public for months at a time, patrons reluctant to return when they finally could open, and decimating earnings and savings. And at the time that I write this, our restaurants are still not allowed to be at full occupancy. Many have spent thousands of dollars on expanded outdoor seating, installation of plexiglass barriers, and implementing a new safety protocols. However, the positives are that our restaurants have shown an amazing resilience. I believe that as we start to build optimism that there may be light at the end of the tunnel, there is some assistance that we as a city can give, such as reducing some of their costs of doing business. To that end, I'll be proposing to the licensing board for their consideration a waiver of liquor license fees for calendar year 2021. Eliminating these fees comes at a time when every dollar is critical and would truly make a difference. Again, I respectfully request that the City Council look favorably on this paper, authorizing the License Board to reduce Section 12 renewal fees for restaurants. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Gary Christensen, Mayor, City of Malden.
Motion to suspend docket rules.
Second.
Councilor Murphy's motion to suspend docket rules, seconded by Councilor Maria. Hold on, Councilor O'Malley has his hand up.
I'm in favor of what we need to do to let this happen. I'm just questioning, why would we be suspending docket rules? It was already on the docket. Are we looking to suspend an ordinance? Like, I'm confused what we're suspending.
We're looking to suspend the rules because it would normally have to go to a committee. We're not sending it to committee.
Okay, this would have to go to like the licensing committee or something like that.
Finance.
Or the ordinance committee. Okay.
Yeah, I think Councilor Winslow's right. I think it's finance.
Okay. So it's to suspend council rules.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, thank you.
Councilor Anderson, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Yeah, I'm all in support of this, but I would ask that these papers that come from the mayor's office like that, they're coming to be read by the city closed correspondence ahead of the meeting, so that we're not just hearing the reading from the city clerk. I think we had a similar paper like that a couple of weeks ago, and I would ask that the mayor's office send that along to us, but as the same time they're sending it along to the city clerk.
Here.
Okay. Councilor Winslow.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I am very supportive of this. I just want to make clear my support. I'm expecting like across the board cut. This is a little bit vague about discretion. It sounds like from the mayor's letter that discretion is meant to be across the board cut for restaurants. So I'm very supportive of that entire thing, not nitpicking on each restaurant. So let's be fair and across the board for all our restaurants. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Spatafor, do you have your hand up?
I do, madam. I'm in full support. Obviously, this is a little bit close to home for everybody. And when I heard about it, it certainly, I think, helps the smaller businesses, even though some have been able to survive. I think everybody in this council understands that a lot of the revenue that is generated in restaurants is done by the sales of adult beverages, and by even some of these places in restaurants being open up, there is not a lot of people still going in and dining because of either dining restrictions or just safety protocols. And, some of these liquor, depending, how your liquor license is, it could be upwards of $3,000 or $4,000. And that's a pretty big, savings, and probably the ability to keep maybe some Malden residents on the payroll as cooks or busboys or bartenders. So I think while it is not a big number for us, it has profound impact on our local economy, and I applaud it. And I want to thank the mayor's office, and I know Maria Louise also had a big idea of this. And now, my hope is the liquor board sets the ability to vote on this, as you mentioned, that I hope the liquor board hears the council's vote of confidence and suspends these for the restaurants going forward. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Condon.
Thank you, Madam President. I fully support this. I'm not sure people realize how much these restaurants mean to the city of Malden. They employ so many people as small businesses, and they really take it on the chin. And just to survive in this business environment will be amazing. I'm not sure how many of them actually will get through this, because you see places still closed. And there's places that are hurting so bad. So many of these restaurants give everything they can to some of our nonprofits like Bread of Life. Not to embarrass Craig, but Anthony's. I know how much over the years they've supported the Bread of Life. It's just amazing. And now everybody's just struggling to keep the doors open. So this little bit, if it helps, I mean, I'm all for doing anything we can to keep our businesses open. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Kamel.
Yeah, again, echoing my colleagues, but yeah, I mean, our economy just in general in this country has moved so much over to a service-based economy, and these kind of jobs are such a huge part of that. And every little thing that we can do to help them stay in business, we see them going out of business, not just in Malden. We see, Boston, downtown, places that have been around for decades, institutions that have been around for decades going out of business, all this. So every little bit that we can do to help, we've got to do. So I'm glad to see this here. Support it.
Great, thank you. Councilor Di Maria.
Thank you, Madam President. Not to be redundant, but I totally support this. This is a wonderful, wonderful idea from the front office. I applaud the mayor. I applaud the administration, Maria Louise. This is, at one point we were majority of our businesses were restaurants. And I remember at one point people were saying, my gosh, how many restaurants do we need? But we have restaurants from all different, nationalities and backgrounds. And so I think that this little bit will go in great appreciation to our businesses, which really does make us Malden. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam President. And I guess I'm just going to say this for the sake of saying it. I would hope that everyone would know that I wanted to suspend docket rules because I do support this. So I just want to go on record as, in total support of this. And once again, I have the motion to suspend docket rules. We have a second. And, I'd like to see that happen so that we can actually vote this on the floor this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor O'Malley for the second time.
We haven't taken that vote yet?
No.
We're suspending rules now.
I'll wait until we suspend the rules. My apologies.
Okay, so on Councilor Murphy's motion, seconded by Councilor Di Maria, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes.
Kamel,
Mel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
2 thumbs up, yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora. Spatafora. Spatafora is on mute.
I'm on mute. I apologize. Spatafora, yes. My mouse wasn't cooperating.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Rules were suspended.
Did we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt. Second.
You want to speak, Councilor O'Malley?
Yeah, I did. Because I'm going to have a related topic later on that I want to kind of introduce. Obviously, anything we can do to help our businesses get through this, as Councilor Condon said, I think we should do. And fully in support of this. And later on, I'd actually also be asking to suspend docket rules to submit a resolve related to a business on Pleasant Street that we got a grant for an expanded patio. I just wanted to give the council a heads up that would be coming down the line. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm sorry, who made that motion?
Murphy's motion.
You made the motion?
I did.
Okay, seconded
Di
by
Maria,
Councilor.
second.
Okay, so on Councilor Murphy's motion to adopt, seconded by Councilor Di Maria, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes.
Kamel,
Mel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Yes.
Papers adopted 11-0.
Great. Next order of business.
Order be hereby ordained that section 2.08.040 of the revised ordinances of 2020 be amended by increasing the number of members to the Disability Commission from 5 to 9.
The city clerk also has another letter to read from the mayor regarding this paper.
Dear members of the City Council, I submit for your consideration an amendment to Ordinance Section 2.08.040, enumeration of boards and commissions, appointed officers, terms and duties that expands the number of members on the Disability Commission. As you know, Malden is fortunate to have an active Disability Commission that is committed to making sure that persons of all abilities have equal access to our city facilities, services, and programs. Most recently, their advocacy that led to a $40,000 grant that has allowed us to move forward with updating the city's American and Disabilities Act, self-evaluation and transition plan. A copy of their annual report is attached that further details some of the other important work and initiatives they have accomplished in such short time. The commission currently consists of 5 members, and the group has asked that we expand the membership to 9 members. I'm attaching the correspondence I received from Nicole Masalam, chair of the commission, making this request. I believe this will help increase their capacity to carry out their mission while offering other interested residents the chance to serve. Massachusetts General Laws 48J, which the City Council adopted in 2018 to form the commission, allows for not less than 5 and not more than 13 members. However, to accommodate the request, we need to amend the number that is established in our ordinance. Please let me know if you have any additional information. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Gary Christensen, Mayor of Malden.
Thank you. Councilor Winslow, you have your hand up.
I would actually like to make a motion to suspend the rule so we can just move ahead with this tonight. I don't see a need to refer this to ordinance. It's very straightforward. So that would be my motion, that we just, let's do this tonight. I don't really see the need to send it to committee. So that would be my motion.
Second by Anderson.
Okay. Anyone else? So on Councilor Winslow's motion to suspend docket rules, seconded by Councilor Di Maria, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Well, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Well, yes.
Spatafora,
It's better for you. Yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Rules are suspended 11-0.
Motion to adopt.
Motion. I so move to adopt this ordinance change.
Second,
On Councilor Winslow's motion to adopt, seconded by Councilor Di Maria, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
I apologize. I know you guys hate me for doing this stuff. Don't we have to enroll ordinance changes and then ordain them?
This isn't an ordinance.
I thought it was. My
It's
apologies.
an order.
It is an ordinance.
It's an order to change an ordinance.
It is an ordinance, yeah.
Oh, it is an ordinance, yeah.
I apologize. I just want to make sure we do it right. Sorry.
Yeah.
It would be to enroll,
To enroll.
ordain.
Right.
No, he's right.
My
He's-
apologies.
Yep.
No, he's right. Should we revote? Should we vote?
To enroll.
Revote to enroll with the right wording?
You want to start over and vote to enroll?
If that's
Yeah, I
okay.
would.
It's going to take another 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's fine. On Councilor Winslow's motion to enroll, seconded by Councilor Di Maria, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Anderson, yes.
Kamel,
Kamel, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Ellie, yes.
Spatafora,
It's better for you. Yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
So should I make a motion to suspend rules so we can ordain it as well then?
Second.
Your motion was to
Suspend the rules so we can ordain it as well tonight. So that takes 9.
Oh, right. Yep, we have to suspend again.
It takes
hold on one
3/4
second.
vote.
Councilor Murphy, do you have a question?
The only thing I have a question about is
Would you read them?
one of the things we were trying to do was, I mean, we can certainly, I'm in favor of doing this. But I'm just wondering, with something like this that isn't an emergency, do we want to suspend docket rules to ordain, or do we just want to wait till the next time to do it? And I'm just putting that out there, you know, because we've talked many times about what we're doing and how quickly we do things. And I'm saying I am in support of this, and I would agree to do it. But is there a rush to do this evening?
There is not.
So
I
why?
thought we were going to refer it to ordinance, to be honest.
Okay. So I mean, my suggestion would be, I believe it will pass. I don't see anyone against it tonight, but just for precedent's sake, where it's not an emergency, I would say leave it to the next meeting and just do it in the normal course of things. Just my 2 cents. But if someone makes the motion to, you know, ordain it tonight, I certainly will vote yes on it. So.
Okay. Councilor Winslow, do you still want to keep your motion?
I mean, we can wait 2 weeks. Yeah, I just that way one less thing to have on the rules and ordinance docket. We can just ordain it 2 weeks from now. I'm fine with that. So.
Okay. Okay. So that has been enrolled, and we'll ordain it in a couple of weeks. So next order of business, clerk.
So it sounds like we need to refer that. Excuse me. If we're not taking any action, it seems like we have to refer it to ordinance.
No, we just,
We just enrolled it, Councilor Anderson.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Paper 296-20 resolved that that in the interest of promoting accountability and transparency in the workings of the City Council while meetings are conducted remotely, and in order to replicate as close as possible the public experience that exists for an in-person meeting, all members of the City Council shall appear live on camera during meetings, excepting those circumstances of technical issues.
Councilor Spatafora for the paper. Resolve, sorry.
Yeah, it's just a resolve. I think it speaks for itself. I was just reading, you know, the council rules, and there's certain things that are decorum. Then I did receive a couple calls from citizens who, as this is probably going to be a little bit of a prolonged process for us, it would just be like us sitting in the chamber and try to replicate a live meeting as possible, that we all are using our camera as much as possible. It's something and to be quite honest with you, in my professional life, it's becoming a mandate now that everybody's on camera. So I think it's good to carry on. And certainly looks good for our audience in this new COVID remote council environment.
Anybody have any questions? Do you want to make a motion? Councilor Winslow, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I appreciate the spirit of this, and I certainly want to follow this myself. But I also want to say that, we're doing this out of our private homes, and each of us might have circumstances that are beyond technical issues sometimes. So I just hope that we, in the spirit, we also understand that it is different. We're not in a public space when we're doing these Zoom meetings. We may be in a private space and have difficulties managing that at times. I'm fortunately in a room, in an office, I can close the door, but all of you might not have that opportunity. So just that we have understanding with each other. I do believe in the spirit of this, but I think we also have to understand that it is a unique situation, and we are, mostly of us are sitting in our private homes, and we may have to deal with personal issues at times and deal with that. So I will support this, but I just want to say that let's be forgiving as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor O'Malley, you're next.
Yeah, I think I understand the spirit behind this. I know, like, I personally really like to eat chips, and I don't necessarily know if I want that broadcast across the city. My favorite chips are Cape Cod chips, Robot. Those are my favorite ones, but I don't necessarily know if that's needed to be broadcast. And I guess in a more serious note, occasionally I have to go to the bathroom. Sometimes if I don't have this problem, but we could eventually have a counselor that is breastfeeding. I don't think that we could require a counselor to breastfeed on camera if they're doing that during a meeting. I can just think of a lot of examples of when you might need to shut your camera off for personal reasons. The same way if we were having a meeting in the council chambers and we had to step away to go to the bathroom or go talk to someone, I think it's a similar situation. That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Councilor Kamel.
Yeah, Councilors Winslow and O'Malley make a good point. I would make a motion to strike the words "those circumstances of technical issues" and replace with "extenuating circumstances." I think that's just it takes into consideration what they're saying.
Can we listen to the comments from the other two? We don't have a second as this moment.
That's not, it's a motion. You can all second it, ignore it, do whatever you want.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I would also second it, just even though I know it's not necessary.
Councilor Condon. You're on mute, Councilor Condon. We can't hear you.
I thought you could read lips. Okay. Over the years, the biggest complaint I've heard about city council meetings, for years they couldn't hear how we were voting. Now they hear how we're voting on each issue and everything's a roll call. So I think there's a lot of accountability with the city council. Everybody knows how we vote on every single issue. I don't even know if anybody can see me on this. I'm on my little iPhone here. So I'm not even sure if my beautiful face is up.
Unfortunately, we can see you, so we'll make an amendment. You don't have to go on camera.
But I think we're very transparent. Is that you here or riding a bike?
I'm here. I'm
okay. I think that we do the best we can to be transparent. I can still support this. I don't have a problem with it. But I have a problem knowing how this whole thing works. It wasn't my generation, I'm sorry. But I get on every week, so that's the most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam President. And Councilor Condon, not my generation either. And I think Councilor Anderson would agree with us. I think I keep constantly pointing out to the fact that we're like the three old guys here, right? But anyway, I guess I'm in support of this because I'm going back. I probably see them, get the rules here. Okay. Going back to Councilor Deputy Maria's 2018 rules, which are the last ones we have. And 19, members to remain at meetings until adjournment. 1901, no member shall leave the meeting without permission of the president. So even if we were in the council chambers, and I know we haven't enforced this in a while, but this has been a rule that's been in effect since I have been a councilor. If you were to leave the stage to even go to the restroom, you were supposed to ask the council president to leave. Okay, this is no different. Just because we're on camera and we're not, in the council chamber, we should be held to the same standard. We shouldn't be blacking out our camera without sending a note to the council president saying, I need to leave for a moment. Okay, it's not appropriate for our constituency to not see us as we're voting, to not know what's going on behind us, who we're talking to, etc. They have that ability when we're in the council chambers, and they should have that ability while we're on Zoom. So I'm in full support of this. And, I believe there are, technical difficulties sometimes. I had some last week. Amanda Linehan just had some, Council Linehan just had some a few minutes ago. And you can tell when there's a slowdown. I mean, it's not like you're going, I'm having problems and everyone doesn't know it, because we all know it, see it. And then we, Council President, yes, shut your video off. We can't hear you. It's not effective. So I think we need to hold to the council rules, which are our council rules, until they're changed. I'm not sure, Councilor Speaker, if you've changed that particular rule, but it's something that, Councilor Di Maria put in place when she was president. So I think we should stand by that.
Thank you. Did we have a motion on this? I don't remember.
You have a motion for Council Kamel to strike circumstances of technical issues. And Council Kamel, what were you adding?
Yeah, the motion was to strike the last words, those circumstances of technical issues, and replace with extenuating circumstances.
What are extenuating circumstances? I mean, my dog was barking. Is that an extenuating circumstance?
So you can vote against it. I just, if you don't want.
I'm just curious. I'm just trying to ask.
It could be.
Yeah, again, it was to take into consideration the spirit of there are things we might not be able to list out a laundry list right now. But if you want to vote against it, that's fine. It's just an idea.
No, I was just asking. So.
I think a couple were listed already. I think the councilors O'Malley and Winslow listed a few.
Councilor Kamel, I'll second that amendment.
Councilor Linehan already did, if I remember correctly.
You did.
Councilor O'Malley, did you speak on this yet?
Oh, no, on the amendment. I was just going to say I support the amendment. I guess I kind of did. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Councilor Crowe, you have your hand up.
Yeah, and I agree, with this paper. It is, and it's one thing if someone kind of, has to run off to go get a water or runs to the restroom. It's a little disconcerting when you're sort of looking at, if it's not a technical difficulty, a picture or just a name, and you're trying to have either a debate or a conversation or someone's debating back. So although I agree with extenuating circumstances, I'm sorry, Council O'Malley, but Cape Cod chips is not extenuating circumstances, and everyone knows to eat them. So I think we do have to, I'm fine with the amendment, but I think we have to really, some of the other examples that someone has given, like Council Winslow, or, that really is an extenuating circumstance that you kind of, need to step away for a minute or, whatever it is. But I think we need to use that very sparing, because I do feel like it is on other meetings, people aren't there, you just don't feel like you're actually meeting with them, and I don't feel meetings are actually as productive when we do that. So I'm in favor of this paper.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy for the second time.
Yeah, I guess I would say, and Councilor Kamel, I didn't mean to sound disagreeable if I did a minute ago. I guess, when I read the rules, everyone can have an extenuating circumstance, and I'm not denying that. And I didn't mean to,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
About the dog barking, et cetera, or his last week his chain was dinging at the dish while he was drinking his water. But I guess what the rule says is anyone can leave the stage. They just have to tell the president. So if you have an extenuating circumstances, no matter who's president, no matter how long we're Zooming, I think it's just maybe a text to the president. I have a circumstance, I have to leave and shut my camera off. It would just be the same as being on because that's when I first took, and some of the other counselors who are older than me will know, like you did, if you needed to leave the stage to go to the restroom, you said to the council president, I'm going to take a 2-minute break.
Well, I can't answer that if you don't mind. I mean, I literally could have a 5-year-old running in here naked. I'm just saying.
You know what? I do.
5-year-old running in naked. I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm not going to.
That's happened to me.
No, I totally get you. And as I said, I'm not trying to be difficult at all. I'm just trying to find a way so that, it seems like, just to me, and I think, from a number of people that I've spoken to over the last couple of weeks, that folks are feeling a little disconcerted about the amount of times that our cameras go black.
Oh.
So, and I think that's maybe what we just all need to be a little sensitive to. I think we're all trying to do the right thing. We all want to be there, but it just seems like our cameras are going off a lot. And I've had, a significant number of comments from folks, about, what's going on? Why isn't the council appearing? Why are they always shutting their camera off? So, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. So.
Thank you, Councilor Murphy. And Councilor Kamel, just to go on to your amendment, I do understand where you're saying with your children. I don't think that's really the issue. I too have had people reach out asking about why so-and-so doesn't have their camera, including my own father. So if my father is a big critic of mine, and if he's commenting on why do some people have their cameras on and others don't, I'm sure there's more than just him that is failing that way, along with the few people that I have, received phone calls from regarding this situation. It's not, if you want to shut off your camera because you want to grab a drink, or if your son runs in the room with his birthday suit on, or if you need to step out to the bathroom, it's totally fine. It's just the hours long meetings where the camera, I'm assuming that's what Councilor Spatafora means by this resolve, is just staying black the whole entire meeting. When and it's not really an issue when somebody is not speaking. It's more of an issue when somebody is speaking. So when you're speaking and it's black and you don't have an issue, then people like to see, especially me, I'm going deaf and I like to read people's lips. So there could be somebody else out there that is in the same boat as me and looking at somebody's lips to see exactly what it is being said. So this is just a resolve, but hopefully, from here on out, if you can have your camera on, with, out having your son run in, or, eating Cape Cod potato chips, or running off to the bathroom for the majority of the meeting, I think that that's actually what this resolve is really about. So I'm not necessarily, we can amend it. It's just a resolve. It's how we need to act. So it's up to the council as to what they decide to do. Did you just shut your hand down?
Yeah, no, I think I just had one more question in terms of does it apply to, so what if it's a committee meeting and you're off committee? Just something like that.
No, and that's fine. I haven't heard anything about any committee meetings. The only time that I've actually, I've heard some, issues being raised is a full city council meeting. I haven't heard any complaints from a committee meeting.
Move the question.
Really fast. Councilor Winslow, did you have your hand up?
I just had the same question as Dave, because often if I'm off committee, I do not keep my.
And I do the same. I just kind of listen in while I'm doing other things. So I don't think it's a committee issue. I think it's more of a full city council meeting that we should try to be as transparent as possible. Yeah. So do we have a motion by Councilor Kamel, seconded by Councilor Linehan? You have the wording, City Clerk?
I do.
To strike out, the clerk will call the
strike. Yeah. Anderson.
Yes.
Kamel.
Yes.
Condon.
Condon, yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley.
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Resolve passes as amended. 11-0.
Next order of business.
That was the
Committee reports.
point of order. That was the amendment.
Was that the amendment or was it?
That was just the amendment. We didn't.
I think we have to.
Sorry, we have to accept the resolve. So do we have a motion?
Motion to accept the resolve.
Seconded by?
I'll second.
Can't-
Go ahead. I'll yield to Anderson.
On Councilor Kamel's motion to accept this resolve, seconded by Councilor Anderson, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson.
Yes.
Kamel.
Yes.
Condon.
Condon, yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley.
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Carries 11-0.
Resolve passes. Next order of business.
Committee report, paper 297-20, committee report personnel appointments, paper 238-20, mayoral appointment, William Hurley, 67 Kimball Street, Malden, Mass, be appointed as member of the Malden Housing Authority said term to commence on his council confirmation expire May 2nd, 2000. It was supposed to be 21, I'm sure. That's a typo.
On Councilor Crow's motion to receive the committee report, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy. Murphy,
Sorry, Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
It's better for yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes. The committee report is received. Councilor Crowe for the committee.
Thank you, Madam President. Last week, the Personnel and Appointments Committee met, and we met with Mr. Hurley, and he's fulfilling the unexpired term of Fran Bedreau, who has resigned. This seat is actually to be filled with someone that is from the building trades, and Mr. Hurley certainly has an extensive background in construction. He's been in Maldoni for 32 years now, and he's a member of Local 7. He's actually the treasurer of Local 7, the Ironworkers. So he has a familiarity with the finances, and he's done some projects, including Malden High School renovation and the charter school. He's a superintendent in his fields, and as I mentioned, he is has a strong construction background. He's excited to be able to come back to the community in this way. And so the committee voted to report his appointment out favorably and make a motion to the council to approve Mr. Hurley's appointment to the Malden Housing Authority Board.
Second.
Thank you.
On Councilor Crow's motion to confirm this appointment, seconded by Councilor DeMaria, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
It's better for yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Mr. Hurley's appointed.
The appointment has been confirmed. Next order of business.
Paper 298-20, Committee Report Personnel Appointment. Paper 240-20, Mayoral Appointment. Caressa LaForce, 327 Medford Street, Malden, be appointed as a member of the Cultural Council upon confirmation by the City Council. Said term to commence on September 1st, 2020 and expire on September 1st, 2023.
On Councilor Crow's motion to receive the committee report, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley went to get a glass of water.
Did he ask permission?
He did.
Really water.
Now you
A
just
giant cup of vodka. Yes.
Spatafora,
Better for yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Carries 11-0.
The committee report is received. Councilor Crowe for the committee.
The personnel appointments also met with Miss LaForce, and she's a lifelong Malden resident and graduated from Malden High. After high school, she attended and graduated from Tufts University with a degree in public health. She explained that really while she was at Tufts, they really taught her about involvement and being involved in your community. So once she returned back to Malden, she began to look into how she could become more involved and was interested in the cultural council position. And she's very interested in exploring more public art, which I thought was great because actually Kit Bridge had mentioned some more public art. So she's working right now as a researcher at Dana-Farber, and the committee was thrilled that she wants to remain in Malden and give back to her community in this way. And so we reported out favorably her confirmation to the Cultural Council. So I make a motion that the City Council confirm Ms. LaForce's appointment to the Malden Cultural Council.
Second.
Councilor Crow's motion to confirm this appointment, seconded by Councilor Maria. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Appointment is made 11-0.
The appointment has been confirmed. Next order of business.
Paper 299-20, Committee Report, Rules and Ordinance in Finance. Paper 279-20, Order. Be it hereby ordained that Section 2.20.030, 2.20.040, 2.20.050, and 2.20.060, Chapter 2 of the Revised Ordinances of 2020 be amended relative to the officers, specialists, clerks, and unclassified employee salary schedules in the sum of $204,165.05 be transferred from salary reserves 0010-996-5110 to the following accounts. Assessor salaries, $8,894.07. Cemetery salaries, $3,807.90. City clerk salaries, $8,133.04. Controller salaries, $9,239.45. Engineering salaries, $7,403.86. Fire salaries, $6,442.22. Board of Health salaries, $13,094.02. Human Resources, $7,195.12. Inspectional Services, $17,211.48. Information Technology salaries, $10,618.96. Legal salaries, $6,838.88. Legislative salaries, $7,695.50. Library salaries, $6,031.88. Mayor salaries, $10,097.95. Parking salaries, $5,699.75. Police salaries, $14,294.75. Facility salaries, $22,771.10. DPW salaries, $7,808.42. Recreation salaries, $3,909.81. Senior Center salaries, $4,987.29. Teen Center salaries, $3,428.48. Traffic salaries, $1,341.63. Treasurer salaries, $14,395.04. Veteran salaries, $2,820.45.
On Councilor Spatafora's motion to receive the committee report, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Carries 11-0.
The committee report is received. Councilor Spatafora for the committee.
Thank you, Madam President. We had a joint finance and ordinance meeting, pretty standard protocol for us as part of any ordinance, any raise or pay raise to any one of our members. We have to upgrade the ordinances that go along with that. Clerk read a list of several areas or departments within the organization that are getting their raises. And so I respectfully ask for everybody's support in this. Any questions, happy to answer them. Thank you, Madam President.
Councilor Kamel.
Yep, just wanted to follow that up and echo that. We looked at this from the finance point of view. This is a fairly regular thing. It's happened every year I've been here. These funds are budgeted into the salary reserve. Once it's time to take action, this comes down to us to ask us to move it from the salary reserve into the salary fund. So it makes sense from the finance point of view as well.
Thank you. Councilor Spatafor, I got a motion?
Motion to pass.
Second.
On, who seconded it?
I did.
Council Kamel.
On Councilor Spatafor's motion to enroll as amended, seconded by Councilor Kamel. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Well, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Carries 11-0.
The ordinance is enrolled. Councilor O'Malley.
I don't mean to be difficult, but because it's both an ordinance and a finance paper, do we also have to pass it for the finance component? Because usually you don't see a finance and ordinance paper combined. Usually they're two separate things.
Finance already passed it. You already passed it.
I think we did.
You already
did we?
passed it. Yeah. I mean, you can confirm that, Dave. I think you already passed it in finance.
We just had to change the ordinance, if I remember correctly.
Correct. The money was already there. We had to change the ordinance.
We already transferred the funds, did we not? The city clerk, do you remember?
No, I don't think the money hasn't been transferred yet.
I
But
think
that
we
was
voted it out of committee.
You
at
did.
the same joint committee. So we voted it
Yeah.
out. It came out of the committee, and we're voting on it now. I would have thought that vote right there, and not what am I trying to say? Enrolled and approve the transfer. That's how I would have interpreted it.
If I could, it was a joint meeting between, it wasn't like finance had a separate meeting from ordinance. They had a joint meeting, so you wouldn't need a second vote from the finance. They already voted it out from that night.
Attorney McNaught, do you want to weigh in on this?
Yes. The order that you voted upon did the actual act of the transfer. You see by the wording, you amended both the ordinance
And
the funds to go to those accounts. It's complete.
Thank you.
There's no need to revote. It's done.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the ordinance is enrolled.
Right.
Do we want to suspend docket rules and ordain this, or do you want to wait 2 weeks? Is this a time sensitive thing? Do you know, Councilor Spatafor or Councilor Kamel?
I did not get the sense that it was. I think whatever changes are made will probably be retroactive anyway. I believe.
I would assume they are as well. Okay.
I don't think it makes any difference.
Okay, so we'll wait and ordain at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, next order of business.
Paper 300-20, Committee Report Finance, Paper 281-20, that the Malden Redevelopment Authority apply to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for a $1,200,000 Section 108 loan to renovate Roosevelt Park, 529 Salem Street, a public property in the city of Malden.
Motion to receive the report.
Yep, on Councilor Kamel's motion to receive the committee report, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
No, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Committee report is received 11-0.
The committee report is received. Councilor Kamel for the committee.
Thank you. Yes, last week we had quite a well-attended and lengthy finance committee meeting focused on this question of closing the budget gap with $1.2 million Section 108 loan. We did vote it out of committee, but it was voted out. It was voted out 4-2. We had quite a healthy conversation there. I think most of the councils were there to attend, so I won't repeat too much. We were joined by several subject matter experts, including Deb Burke from the MRA and engineer Steve O'Neill, who were with us tonight. We were also joined by Bob Knox and Charlie Conifrey, as well as Ron Hogan. We looked at it mainly. We talked about a lot of things, but we looked at it mainly the question of the feasibility of using this Section 108 loan and how it impacted the CDBG budget. The sort of long and short of it, this would impact the CDBG budget, the entitlement, the annual entitlement, with $90,000 annual debt service. It is in the same ballpark as the debt service for Lincoln Commons that fell off in August 2019. Right now, on the fiscal year 21, which has no that Lincoln Commons payment is no longer there. But if this were to pass, we would expect the fiscal year 2022 to have the $90,000 payment, which would be just about $17,000 to $18,000 more than what the Lincoln Common was. So it was a small impact from looking at the change of one of those parks falling off to this one coming in. I would expect there to be lots of conversation, so I'll yield the floor.
Anyone have any questions, comments? Nothing? Councilor Kamel, Councilor O'Malley.
So I already extensively talked about it in committee, so I won't talk very long here. So I just, I think that everyone knows how I feel. I just think it'd be ideal for us to try to remediate the site as much as possible. So we'll be voting in opposition, but as I said last time, I don't think that where you end up on this side of this discussion determines whether or not you're for or against the kids. I think we're all here to make Malden a better place, and I appreciate all the hard work that everyone puts in. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Kamel.
Yeah, I just want to put a little separation between the committee report and my own personal comments. I want to thank Councilor O'Malley for those comments and just the general demeanor and disposition of the folks who were in the Finance Committee. You had the potential to be a confrontational situation, and it wasn't. Folks certainly talked about what they believed in, and good arguments were made on both sides. And I just want to say that one of the main drivers for me in the decision I came to does trace back exactly to that remediation of the field. And looking at the political reality of the situation, it seemed like the most plausible and feasible way for that to be addressed would be through the continuation of this project, and that's on top of the benefits that have been discussed from several of the letters that came in through public comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain the motion.
Move the question.
Say that again, Councilor Anderson.
Move the question. Let's vote.
Okay. You making a motion?
Yes.
Who's
So
second?
moved.
A second.
Okay. On Councilor Anderson's motion, seconded by Councilor Condon. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
DeMaria,
No.
Linehan,
Linehan, no.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, no.
Spatafora,
Spatafora,
yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Baker,
Sika, yes.
carries 8-3.
The order is adopted. Next order of business.
There's a committee report with some licenses. Do you want to take 247-20 up first?
I would love if you would do that for me, please. I need to recuse myself from this. Councilor Spatafor is going to take over. We need to do a roll call though, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need a motion from some.
We do.
We do.
Yep.
Motion to Council President Seeker to be recused.
Seconded.
second.
Second.
Thank you.
Who's that?
Councilor Kamel's motion to recuse myself, seconded by Councilor Crowe. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
No, yes.
Condon,
London, yes.
Crow.
Yeah.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Melly, yes.
Spatafora,
It's better for a yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Carries 10-0. Paper 247-20, outdoor parking, Regano's 1176 Eastern Ave, Malden, 15 spaces. It's no.
Looks, City Clerk, motion to receive the
Yeah.
committee report.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So Councilor Spatafor, don't you have to?
Motion to receive the committee report. All in favor?
So I
Somebody.
didn't know if the clerk was going to do it. So yeah, on Councilor Murphy's motion to receive the committee report, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Clerk will read the committee report.
And May, just for one technical point of view, just on the council president recusing herself, I believe there should have been a reason why she was recusing herself.
Yes, I apologize. There is. Regano's is my uncle, so I've been recusing myself from anything pertaining to him since I became a city councilor.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
So clerk will read the committee report, right?
Yeah, can I get roll call just to
Oh,
be
I'm
consistent
sorry.
with the
Clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
No, yes.
Condon,
London, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Melly, yes.
Spatafora,
It's better for a yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Committee report is received. Paper 240. Okay, do you want to do it?
No, I was just say Councilor Murphy, right?
Yes.
The paper?
Yes. So the license committee met last week, and we went over a number of licenses, which we'll be discussing as we move forward. Regano's was passed out unanimously by the license committee for approval by the full city council. Our compliance officers are also with us in these meetings to look at any issues that there might be and making sure that everyone is compliant with all the rules, regulations, and ordinances. This fit the bill. So we did report it out favorably and would hope that the full city council would grant this petition this evening.
Any questions for Councilor Murphy on the committee report? Seeing none and hearing none, I entertain a motion.
I think Councilor Murphy.
Move granting.
Okay, on Councilor Anderson's motion to approve or grant, seconded by Councilor Condon. Clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
No, yes.
Condon,
London, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Di Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
Melly, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
License granted 10-0.
Okay, and now I vacate the virtual president's chair and turn it back over to Council Seeker.
Thank you.
So Councilor Murphy's motion to,
On Councilor Murphy's motion to receive the committee reports, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
No, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Committee report is received.
The committee report is received. Councilor Murphy for the committee.
Thank you. City Clerk, if you wouldn't mind, I know normally we do these separately in categories, but there's a limited number of them, and they all go through basically the same process. So if you'd read them all at once, I think that would help speed things up this evening.
Sure, it's paper 301-20, let's see, 245-20, Class 2, licensed Broadway Auto Motors, Inc., 495, 497 Broadway, Malden, change of name from Smart Buy USA. 246-20, outdoor parking, Northeast Snow Services, 531 Rear Broadway, Malden, 5 spaces, it's a renewal. 248-20, outdoor parking, 3C Realty Trust, 54 Winter Street, Malden, 22 spaces, it's renewal. 249-20, outdoor parking, Emmanuel Baptist Church, 20 Madison Street, Malden, 27 spaces, it's renewal. 250-20, livery, Farris Transportation, Inc., 140 Clifton Street, Malden, 1 livery, new. 251-20, pool tables, Town Line 10-pin Corp., 665 Broadway, Malden, 19 tables, it's a renewal. 252-20, bowling alley, Town Line 10-pin Corp., 665 Broadway, Malden, 48 lanes, it's a renewal.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. You know, as I said earlier, the license committee did meet last week. We go through a very substantial vetting process. Our compliance officers are with us, plus there's an application process that's handled through the city clerk, and then many times the building inspector and the fire department also get involved. All of these applications have been vetted thoroughly. They all have met with the license committee's approval. They were all approved unanimously in the license committee for presentation to the full city council for these petitions to be approved. If anyone has any questions on any of them, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I would hope that council would approve them en masse this evening.
Second.
On Councilor Murphy's motion, seconded by Councilor Anderson to approve these license, the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Licenses are granted 11-0.
Petitions are granted. Next order of business.
You want all these read out together too? Or?
Please.
Yes, please.
Okay. Paper 307-20, committee report, personnel appointments, paper 244-20, order that John Tremendozzi, 276 Charles Street, Malden, be reappointed as a member of the Historical Commission, said term to expire September 1st, 2023. Paper 308-20, committee report, personnel appointment, paper 89-20, order that Jean Voltaire, 500 Broadway, apartment number 114, Malden, Mass, be reappointed as a member of the Register of Voter Board. Term to expire March 31st, 2023. Paper 309-20, committee report, personnel appointments, paper 91-20, order that Henry Susi, 107 Kimball Street, Malden, be reappointed as a member of the planning board. Term to expire March 1st, 2025. Paper 310-20, committee report, personnel appointments, paper 92-20, order that Kenneth Antonucci, 14 Spruce Street, Malden, be reappointed as a member of the planning board. Said term to expire March 1st, 2025. Paper 311-20, committee report, personnel appointment, paper 241-20, order that Nicole Marsalam, 64 Essex Street, Malden, be reappointed as a member of the Disability Commission. Said term to expire September 20th, 2023. Paper 312-20, committee report, personnel appointment, paper 239-20, order that Isaac Slavitt, 14 Gelano Street, Malden, be reappointed as a member of the Conservation Commission. Term to expire September 15th, 2022. Paper 313-20, committee report, personnel appointments. Paper 242-20, order that Ronald B. Hogan, 5 Cider Mill Hill Road, Saugus Mass be reappointed as Director of the Parking Department, term to expire June 1st, 2023. And paper 314-20, committee report, personnel appointment, paper 243-20, order that George Lasky, 52 Blue Hill Ave, Malden, be reappointed as a member of the Conservation Commission, said term to expire September 5th, 2022.
Councilor Crow's motion to receive the committee report. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
No, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Betafora,
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Committee report is received, 11-0.
The committee report is received. Councilor Crowe for the committee.
So at the last personnel and appointments meeting, the committee voted to temporarily forego meeting with each of the reappointments while we're conducting business remotely and move the reappointments forward. The committee was not unanimous in this decision. We had some great conversation. We all see the value in meeting with each of the reappointments. However, given the constraints the virtual meetings present, the committee felt like it was more efficient to handle the reappointments in this way until we sort of get back to a new normal. So I make a motion that the full city council confirm these reappointments.
Second.
Councilor Crow's motion, seconded by Councilor Condon. I'm sorry. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. And thank you to the chairperson for explaining that. I wasn't aware of that. My only question I have is some of these appointments are for 5-year terms. Do you think it would make more sense to just let them continue as holdovers until we can meet in person or actually interview some, or only because the pandemic hopefully won't last 5 years, but some of these appointments are for 5 years. That's just my thought process on this. And the other question I had, are these all outstanding appointments, or are there any other appointments that we have yet to receive that need to be reconfirmed?
On the second point, these are, I will have to double check on those. We might have some of the reappointments that are, we do have some reappointments that are outstanding. Most of these are the mayor's appointment that got sent to us for our confirmation. So for the city council appointments, I do know that we have at least one that's reappointed that's outstanding. Our clerk of committees is outstanding, actually. So I will look at that list. At the meeting, we did have a discussion about calling in some of the ones that, like you said, maybe the 5-year or someone that people want to talk. And we were advised that either you call all of them in or none of them in. If you're talking about reappointments, it's either an all or nothing. You can't, it doesn't preclude any counselor from having a conversation with any of these appointees. But it's either, we couldn't just pull in a few of them that we thought were more relevant that you might want to talk to. It was either you pull everybody in or you know.
Thank you.
Are you all set, Councilor O'Malley?
Mm-hmm.
Councilor DiMaria.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Madam Chair Crow, for a great presentation to what we all discussed last week. I was one of the dissenting votes because I felt the importance of bringing our volunteers, most of them are unpaid volunteers, to not to evaluate them as much, but to say thank you for their time and what they do for the city. But in your presentation this evening, you did clarify that this is clearly temporary during the COVID. So I'm very happy to hear that, and I will be supporting it. So thank you.
Thank you.
You have my time.
So, Councilor Crowe, do you have a motion to
Make a motion to confirm the reappointments.
Second.
Okay, on Councilor Crow's motion, seconded by Councilor Condon to reconfirm these appointments, the clerk will call the roll.
Now he's on mute.
Yeah.
Anderson. Anderson.
Yes.
Kamel.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Condon.
Condon, yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley.
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Carries 11-0.
Okay, the appointments have been confirmed. Next order of business.
There's a table paper.
Councilor Kamel.
Motion to take paper 26520 off the table.
Second.
Councilor Kamel's motion, seconded by Councilor Murphy. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson.
Yes.
Kamel.
Yes.
Condon.
Condon, yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley.
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Paper is untabled 11-0.
Councilor Kamel for the paper.
We were ever so close to voting on this, but we got a little last minute, reprieve is the right word, last minute roadblock. We just hadn't certified our free cash. Well, that has been completed. I forget the date, Chuck told me, but it is completed.
It was the very next day, Councilor
It was
Kamel.
the very next day, thank you, yes. So, day late and dollar short. I don't know if that's the right saying right now, but I would wholeheartedly move that we accept this paper.
I'll second it.
Councilor O'Malley, you have your hand up.
What did the free cash come in at?
A little over 18 million.
Great, thank you.
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. I could go and look for it if you give me a second. Hold on.
Or you can just send it to us if that's
Yeah.
the ballpark.
I gotta look through the email. So yeah. But it was a little bit over 18 million.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so on Councilor Kamel's motion.
It was 18.6.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, on Councilor Kamel's motion, seconded by Councilor Murphy. The clerk will call the
Anderson.
roll.
Anderson.
And yes.
Kamel.
Yes.
Condon.
Condon, yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan.
Linehan, yes.
Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley.
O'Malley, yes.
Spatafora.
Spatafora, yes.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Carries 11-0.
Oh, paper passes. Next order of business.
Docket is clear.
Docket's clear. Councilor Winslow.
I think Councilor O'Malley had something, so I just wanted to make sure we didn't forget that. Yeah.
Hold on. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move to suspend docket rules just to propose a resolve, a non-binding resolve.
What's the resolve?
So I can explain it. So the council previously passed a resolve to request that the traffic commission allow on-street dining on Pleasant Street. And I think we eventually expanded it to all businesses throughout the city who would like to apply for that. The city of Malden, the traffic commission then took that action. And the City of Malden, in coordination with the building department, DPW, city engineer, traffic commission, applied for a grant, the Shared Streets Grant, which we were then awarded. And there is a proposal to expand the patio space outside of Mystic Station in order to allow them to take advantage of the nice weather that we're having right now in order to try to survive through the winter, which could be bad with COVID, and we're not 100% sure. The license committee was very gracious to have an emergency meeting this Thursday. So I'd like to thank Chairperson Lee Kinnan and the city solicitor for helping organize that. And I was hoping that we could pass a resolve tonight in support of that application with the conditions that the licensing committee may or may not put on that applicant.
Thank you. Councilor Spatafora, do you have your hand up for this?
No, I have a hand up. No, I don't have my hand
Second, I second the resolution.
up. So I do have a question. So I'm in support of it, obviously, to help the small business. What does the grant have to do with the patio?
Through Council President Sika, the grant was a shared streets grant that we specifically applied to acquire barricades, planters, signage to expand patio space for our businesses so that they could try to make it through this pandemic.
Okay, so are we also, does that grant allow, does the other restaurants in the Pleasant Street area get access to that grant money as well? Or is it only for one restaurant?
Anyone is available. The only businesses that expressed interest were Hugh O'Neill's and Mystic Station, but the timing of the grant application did not work for Hugh O'Neill's, so they put their support behind Mystic Station graciously.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, yeah, I'm in support of it. Yeah, makes sense. So the resolve is to support this, so that the liquor committee would support this as well. That's the resolve.
If they so choose, a non-binding resolve.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Hold on one second. Are you all set, Councilor?
I am. Thank you.
Councilor Winslow, you have your hand up?
I just wanted to second the resolution and say that I'm in support of it. I mean, this will be some infrastructure that will be for the city. We can do it in future years as well, depending upon how it works. I mean, a lot of communities have like an open streets night, like on Friday nights and that type of thing, that really bring more people downtown. So I think it's exciting. We probably should do some extra stuff for businesses to that made it through, to have even more fun and exciting things happen to get people back once COVID is done. But this is a one thing we can do right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Kamel, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Again, just to echo back what we were talking about earlier about the liquor licensing fees, anything we can do to help our small businesses, we should be doing. I just want to ask if, through the chair, if Councilor O'Malley does know this, where would the expanded patio space be happening, and would there still be, I think it's 3 feet ADA width to be able to walk down the street or get down the street? And I would imagine the answer is yes. I just want to dot the I's, cross the T's.
If I may, through the chair, the proposed location would be in 2 parking spots adjacent to their property, and we have acquired or are acquiring Jersey barriers, signage. We also were looking to get a raised decking platform that would be temporary, but the MassDOT grant did not fund that portion. So what we're looking to do now is to have that deck built privately. And so it would maintain ADA accessibility both on and off the deck, as well as passing by on the sidewalk. This would actually free up space on the sidewalk.
All right, thanks.
Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, Madam President. So how much is this grant for? Do we know?
Through the chair, it's about $260,000 in change, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, let me double check on that. There's 3 other projects that were funded, so there's
projects in Malden.
Yeah, there's bike lanes that are extended in Highland Avenue, work that's happening on Florence Street and Dartmouth Street, and then this is actually a small bit. It's what, 30 grand for this particular thing. So the other big cost is putting some bus lanes on Florence Street, and consistent with our complete streets plan. So.
Right. Okay. All right. So just now that I know that they have an outdoor dining and some of the other has been floated out to all the restaurants, but now that there are some fundings that could help people do some of this, is this going to get to other restaurants that might take advantage of a grant program that would help them access more outdoor space?
Can I just say something really fast? I don't think that we should be having this discussion at the moment because we never suspended rules to even talk about the resolve.
Okay.
So if we're gonna go into a lengthy conversation, we should probably have the clerk do a roll call.
And
So yeah, we can have the discussion as soon as we vote, but we're in violation of open meeting.
You are correct.
Yeah, so, okay, so it was Councilor O'Malley's motion and it was seconded by Councilor Winslow to suspend council rules, docket rules for this, so clerk will call the roll.
Discussion, the resolve.
Anderson,
Yes.
Mel,
Yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Kraut,
Yes.
DeMaria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
O'Malley,
O'Malley, yes.
Metafora,
Metaphor, yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika,
Sika, yes.
rules are
Before I
suspended.
go to anybody else too, I want to bring in Attorney McNaught for some clarity here.
Yes.
So are we able to add a resolve to a docket?
The agenda should have had the resolve on it on a timely basis in order for it to be acted upon. I realize that it's a resolution, but even a resolution has to be put on the docket on the agenda in advance of the meeting. And that would be by the time limit, the agenda is finalized. Hate to be a fly in the ointment, but that's the way it's supposed to be in order to comply with the open meeting law.
Okay, so what do you suggest that we do? Not,
Well, let me put it this way. You can't unring the bell. Certainly everybody has had their moment to say what they've had to say with regard to it, and nobody disagrees, it appears. But the problem is there can't be a vote on a resolution at this particular time if it didn't appear on the agenda. And it didn't. So that's the legal opinion. Sorry to be a fly in the ointment.
okay. Councilor O'Malley, are you okay with that? Go ahead, Councilor O'Malley.
So as it was stated, this is a non-binding resolve. There's no official action being taken. We aren't in control of this. We're just asking another body, showing them our support for something that is coming before the body. I would not have been able to put this on the docket because at the time that the docket was being posted, this meeting was not occurring. It was just posted today. I would just really appreciate us expressing support for this particular application so that the licensing committee knows how the council feels.
Councilor O'Malley, what if we each sent a letter of support to the liquor board instead of us acting on a resolve that's not on the docket, so we don't have an open meeting law violation tomorrow on us?
Could we do, okay.
It won't, I think it will be just as good as a resolve if everyone takes 5 minutes and shoots the liquor board an email, letting them know they're in support of this.
Would you be able to do it on behalf of the council for us? President.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yep, I could do that.
Thank you.
I can write it up first thing in the morning and send it right over to Diane. It just, with all the scrutiny and everything that we've had with open meeting law violations and everything, I would much rather not add a resolve to the docket than Councilor Kamel.
Sorry, and I know people have, but point of order, can you do that, speak for us without a specific vote? Not to.
Attorney McNaught, am I allowed to send a letter on behalf of the entire council?
Well, it would appear then that what you are doing is you're taking a vote. You can have a letter made and everybody can sign it.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll do that.
But I don't think you can act
Or
as though,
you could, if I can interrupt, or you could, council president could write a letter and express her opinion that she thinks that there's full support from the city council on it.
Okay.
I'm going to write a letter anyways.
It's your opinion.
I'm going to write a letter too.
Let's not make this more complicated than we have to.
Okay.
I think it's more impactful if we all took 5 minutes to write a letter.
That's right.
Okay.
My 2 cents.
Okay. Councilor
and
Murphy.
that does the trick.
Awesome. Thank you. Councilor Murphy, you've been patient with your hand up.
Yeah, no, I know, because, we were talking earlier about, having the mayor's letter come down to us before, it gets read, tonight when we're trying to discuss something. And I'm not saying I'm against this. I love Mystic Station's food and I want to see them survive and I want to see all of our small businesses survive. But I guess, some of the questions I have is, what impact does that have on other businesses, beside them if we're taking away parking spaces? I know I go to like Eastern Bank. Sometimes I can't get a parking spot. So I guess I'm just curious, are we helping one small business and hurting another? I mean, we haven't heard anything about this as a council. And also, is this just happening in the square? I mean, is there anything happening in Maplewood Square? Is there anything happening on Salem Street? I mean, how has this word gotten out to, our other restaurants that these funds are available? And did anyone apply for them? I mean, have we done the outreach that's necessary to make sure that, all of our small businesses know that this is opportunistic for them? I don't know. I'm just saying, this is just kind of put in front of us tonight. And I don't know a lot of information about it. So I'm just a little curious as to how this all works.
So, Councilor Murphy, to answer your question, that they have to send a letter to the abutters, letting them know that they're, what their intentions are for this. And there is a bunch of conditions that they need to meet in order for the liquor board to grant this, this extended license. So, we really probably still shouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, you're asking us.
We're getting into other topics with all of this. So I'm just gonna close this portion and we're gonna move on to personal privilege if you don't mind.
As I said, I just was looking for information.
And maybe if you want to find out some answers about it, then you should tune into the Zoom meeting on Thursday for the liquor board.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you. City Clerk.
Docket is clear.
Docket is clear. It's now personal privilege. Councilor Spatafora.
Thank you, Madam President. And I had my hand up before, but I apologize for jumping in that conversation. I want to give everybody an update on the resolve that we passed, I think 2 weeks ago at this point, on vacant property. I will be completely honest with everybody. I was a little overwhelmed by the public. I actually received a lot more questions and calls regarding the initiative of the council looking for the ability to purchase some potential land for the benefit of turning into green space. I did go, and this is not done, but the plan is to complete this map. So I have a map right now that shows all the city parcels, and I'm working with the new assessor right now. This includes parks. This includes some obvious, deltas. I have an individual list that I'll be sharing with everybody, but also I'm going to ask on this individual map to include privately owned parcels, and we're probably going to wean that down to under 7,000 square feet because it's a more doable number, a manageable number. And then I'm going to include wards and precincts on this map, and then I will share it with all the councilors and have you look at city-owned versus privately owned as an opportunity, and we can discuss next steps. But there's actually a pretty large amount of property that is considered vacant. And I just want to let you know we're making progress with that, and working with the new city assessor who's been a joy to work with. Was in City Hall with him last week. We had some trouble with the phone system, so I made my way down to City Hall, and I'll have an update for the council. Unfortunately, we can't email these yet, but I'm going to actually try to compress these maps and see if I can send them to you. For some reason, they can't do it in City Hall. If not, I'll get copies to everybody, but I want to give you an update on that project. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Condon.
Oh,
I want to speak on the other issue. I'm fine.
I'm sorry. Councilor.
right.
Okay. Councilor O'Malley. Did you have your hand up?
Sorry, I also want to talk on them, but I'll just do it. So last week we had the first meeting of the Spot Palm Brook Greenway feasibility study. It was fantastically attended. Many of the councilors here joined, and I appreciate the support. Mayor Christensen also attended, and we got about 50 attendees. And so this is the first of 3 public meetings. We're working with Shadley Associates to come up with a feasibility study to determine the most convenient route for everyone. And we will be having 2 more meetings, one at the end of October, I believe, but we'll find out the exact dates and I'll share them with the community when that happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody who came out to Trafton Park and helped do some cleanup in the dog park. We picked up a lot of glass and other debris, so that is great. So especially want to thank Tracy Muse and Edie Kupelnick who helped put that together, and hopefully this will be the start of many more over the years to come with the Friends of Trafton Dog Park. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Councilor Crow's motion to adjourn. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson,
Yes.
Kamel,
Oh, yes.
Condon,
Condon, yes.
Crow,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
O'Malley,
Well, yes.
Spatafora,
Yes.
Winslow,
Winslow, yes.
Sika.
Sika, yes.
Meeting is adjourned.
Good night, everyone.
Aye.
Good night.